Hi there, folks. Welcome to Avaunt Artists, the show where we highlight local artists around the surrounding area. I'm your host, Case Henskins. Today, we're very lucky to have a special guest with us, Mark Wavera. Mark, welcome to the show. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
So, as an artist, how would you describe your artwork? What do you produce?
Well, the question I have asked all the time is, is this photography or is this a painting, or is it both? And that is the answer. It is both. It's a mixed media, and I started my career more as a fine artist, and then became a photographer, and then eventually just combined the two into one form.
What inspired you to start getting into this type of art? Was there a specific person, or?
My grandmother actually, she was a traditional painter who could not draw very well. So I would draw her canvases for her, and then watch her flesh out the canvas and add color to it. I was amazed by it, actually. And I'd sit there and watch her for hours. And now I essentially do the same thing I was doing then, just without her, and I'm providing the drawing in the way of a photograph.
To this day, is there somebody or maybe a specific artist or painter that maybe just kind of influences your artwork a little bit? Or?
Absolutely. Photographer Walker Evans, his work really profoundly affected me. Also, the work of Edward Hopper. A lot of people have compared my style of work to either one of those artists. Obviously, I've looked at the work of thousands of other artists and painters over the years, but I would say those two artists would be my primary influences.
Two major ones, sure, absolutely. As an artist, has there ever been something maybe specifically or kind of in general that you've had to come over that's made it really difficult for you as an artist, painter, photographer, that to get your artwork out there, or maybe critics or something that people have said that?
Yeah, it's been a long struggle to kind of be recognized by the community, because you have to consistently and constantly keep putting your work out there.
Yeah.
Week after week, month after month, you have to keep creating new work and keep getting it out in front of the public, because it takes a long, long time for people to actually be able to see your work at one location and recognize it as your work. Even without seeing your name, they know it's your work. And I finally reached that point in my career. It's been very expensive. It's been very costly to get to that point, because to keep creating work, keep framing work, keep producing work, keep hanging work, it's not inexpensive. So
understandable. Sounds like an expensive hobby. Yeah. Not like Legos.
Right.
For me, I'm lucky enough, buy a box set, and my artwork, my masterpiece is complete. So.
Right.
Okay, so I've been told that you have a studio. Can you tell us a little? Do you produce most of your artwork there? Or?
A lot of it I do. I'm in the Pendleton Arts Center, downtown Cincinnati. It's such a great space for me. I've been there over a decade. It's really great for me in two ways. One, it keeps me very motivated, and it keeps me humble, because there's so many fine artists in the building. And since there's so many fine artists in the building, it's very inspirational, because when I hit a block, when I hit a wall, and it's not seeming to gel, I can walk around and I look at what other artists are doing, that they're working hard at it, and it's very motivating.
Absolutely.
So it's a nice space.
Sure. As an artist, we talked about what's been really difficult, but was there something that as you were starting, you're like, man, this is going to be really difficult, or I'm worried about this, and then it really just went easy? Or?
Yeah, no, it kind of came naturally, and kind of more by accident. I just was messing around. I was waiting on a customer one day, and I had some time to kill, and I had an image of Over the Rhine, and I just started doodling on it, and started just kind of killing time, messing around, and when my customer came in, she said she loved it, asked me if it was for sale. And I said, sure it is, and so I did a few more, and people seemed to like them as much as I like doing them, and so it just kind of went from there. So
that's got to be one of the most rewarding things in the world, like loving what you're doing, people appreciate it, and then even often they say, can I pay you for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, yeah, of course you can pay me for this. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's some good stuff here. We have a lot more to talk about. When we get back, we're going to be talking a little bit more about your specific artwork in general. So I got a couple of pieces I was lucky enough to see, and I'm really excited to talk about. So we'll be right back with Mark Wavra. We're going to take a little break right after these messages. We'll be right back. Thanks. Welcome back to Avaunt Artist. If you're just joining us, we're here with Mark Wavra. We've been lucky enough to kind of pick his brain a little bit. There's a complete series, a bunch of photographs and paintings in here of Over the Rhine. What's the significance behind Over the Rhine? Why so much focus?
For a couple of reasons. One, I lived in downtown for quite a while, and Over the Rhine was always my favorite part of town. More history, just more color, more character there than where you find what you find on 4th or 5th Street, and also Over the Rhine right now is kind of going through a resurgence. A lot more people are finding interest in living there, and a lot more people are finding an appreciation of the beautiful architecture there. Yeah. So I'm doing an entire series on that whole Over the Rhine area because it's always been a favorite place to me.
A couple of shots that I noticed from there. The first one, I think we kind of refer to it as like the Over the Rhine caddy. There's like a black caddy.
Yeah, the El Dorado Cafe. Yeah, that bar is gone at this point, but and it was called the El Dorado Cafe. And so much of what I've done in Over the Rhine is gone at this point because it's changing almost daily at this point. So
there was another Over the Rhine photo. I think this might have been one of my favorite ones that I got to see. I think we said over the Rhine, if that makes sense, because it's like the rooftops.
It's a piece I did from the top of the Pendleton studio. You're looking out, in the foreground is the rooftops of Over the Rhine, and then the background Procter and Gamble and all the new buildings that have been built on the riverfront. So it's an interesting view of the city from there.
I noticed, and this one also really drew my eye. There was a kind of a burlesque theater. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it's actually in an area called Mohawk. It's just off Central Parkway. It still stands, but it's just barely standing at this point. That's kind of how I pick my subjects. A lot of times how colorful the history of that building was. Because I'll hear from some of the older folks in Cincinnati. They'll say, oh yeah, there used to be a boxing ring up on the 2nd floor, or, the 3rd floor used to be a brothel, or there used to be bootleg whiskey made in the basement of this building during Prohibition, and that makes the subject a lot more appealing to me because it has a lot of color and a lot of past to it.
I was noticing, I see your artwork, and for the most part, it's the first time I've seen these landmarks or buildings, and it's like, oh, it looks really cool in here, and now I'm like, where is this place? I want to go check it out in person.
A lot of times, the question is, oh, I love this, where's it at?
Yeah.
And they're just like you. I mean, it appeals to them, and they'd like to actually see it in person. And it's odd sometimes because the actual image is done a block away from where they work. People are so busy they don't see it.
Absolutely. Sometimes it just takes a nice piece of art to say, oh, this is what I've been missing, or oh, this is right on my way to work, this building. It looks a lot different now that it's been painted up. It looks better this way.
Part of what I've done for years is I've tried to document the city before they take it apart. Because for whatever reason they'll just randomly knock down a building that's been there for 128 years. And I try to document a lot of these before they find them useless and plow them over, So, I mean, part of it for me is to be able to document it before it's all gone, before it all changes. So,
anything else that maybe our viewers need to know?
I have a website people can go to. And, I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm in a couple different Tazamia locations in downtown Cincinnati. I'm at Neon's in Cincinnati, Joseph Williams' home. I'm at Newport on the Levee. I'm at the Avenue in Covington. I'm at Fusion Gallery in Bellevue. Kind of scattered all over the area.
Sounds like it.
I try to get my work out and away from me as quickly as I can, because if I look at it for very long, then I get too critical of it. So the sooner I can get it away from me, the better.
And do you also find that if it is around you for too long, not only do you get too critical, but in turn that criticism can turn into picking up the paintbrush and be like, it needs something else, when
Yeah,
it was fine
absolutely.
before?
Yeah, I just took a piece out of a location recently, and they were disappointed because I took the piece down, and I told them I hated it, but I was going to fix it. And so I just recently fixed it. But, and, you know, it's just because I had a chance to look at it one too many times.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so folks, it's been a great conversation we've had here with Mark Wavra. Found out a lot about him, some of the different artwork he produces, and where we can go to find some of his pieces. I was lucky enough to get to sit down and pick his brain for a while. Mark, thanks again for coming in.
No problem.
This has been Avaunt Artists. Again, this is Case Henskins signing off, and as always, remember to stay artsy. We'll see you next time. Thanks.